And they do. Day after day, season after season, the greatest fans in the world, Chicago Cub fans. Faithful, undaunted, enthusiastic. Year after year, back to the summer place they loved so dearly. Opening day, 1978, the place, Wrigley Field. The date, April 14th. The Cubs were playing the Pirates on that sunny Friday afternoon, where real grass and green vines and kids, thousands of them of all ages, came together to play. Opening day is always a gala and historic occasion, a cause for celebration, for remembering the past and believing in the future. And 78 was no exception. Fans were there, the largest opening day crowd in Wrigley Field history. Appropriately, the ceremonial first pitch was thrown out by one of the most colorful and successful players and managers in Cubs history, a man who brought 3 pennants to Wrigley Field, Jolly Charlie Grimm. And for the close of opening day 78, Larry Bittner made it a memorable and dramatic one.
Jim Bibby is the pitcher. That's a fly ball. That's very deep to left center. Back goes Marino. Back. Hey! It's all over. Larry Bittner just hit an opposite field home run, and the Cubs have won this game. April 14th, 1978. It's the Cubs home opener, and Larry Bittner has just woken up the ball game in the 9th inning with a home run. The Cubs win it 5-4.
The new season brought back a lot of old faces, but a lot of new ones, too. In the box seats, the grandstand, the bleachers, and on the field. New faces like catchers Dave Rader, Tim Blackwell, and Larry Cox, and an outfielder with an exploding bat, Mike Vail. Proven veteran stars like pitchers Lynn McLaughlin and Ken Holtzman, lending their experience and know-how to what was predominantly a young team. And that young team also included some bright new rookie prospects, like pitchers Dave Geisel, Dennis Lamb, Manny Cioni, and a Cubs star player of the future, Scott Thompson. It was the hope that these men, along with returning Cub favorites like Bill Buckner, Ivan DeJesus, Bobby Mercer, Manny Trio, Bruce Sutter, and Rick Russell, would produce the balance of power, speed on the base paths, smooth fielding, consistent pitching, and bench strength to make the Cubs a front runner in the National League East. Cubs Vice President Bob Kennedy saw 1978 as a year to build and develop this talented squad into a formidable unit, ready to challenge all comers. The groundwork was laid, and now it was time to grow. Led by the spectacular exhibitions of the team's defensive spark plug, Ivan DeJesus, Kennedy and manager Franks hoped the Cubs would continue their outstanding defensive maneuvers, a major threat to National League predators. And it was a year to firm up Cub pitching, to build the bullpen, and to develop a consistent, strong starting rotation. A year to build the hitting department, and great strides were made in adding that needed offensive punch. For the first time since 1945, the Cubs captured the team batting championship, edging past the champion Los Angeles Dodgers. With players like Billy Buckner, Bobby Mercer, Ivan DeJesus, Manny Trio, and Dave Kingman paving the way in game-winning hits, the Cubs became known by their fans as the come-from-behind team, the team that never quit.
Man on second, Rudy Meoli. That's a well-hit ball. That's pretty well hit back there to left center. It's way back there. It is off the wall. Come on, Rudy. The ball game is over. Manny Trio has done it again. The big hit. Manny Trio just barely missed a home run out there with a drive high off the left center field wall.
It was well known during the winter months that the Cubs were actively seeking help in several areas, particularly in right-handed power hitting. So it was that in November of '77, the Cubs signed an expensive free agent, but it was money well spent.
That's pretty well hit deep to center, way back. Say goodbye to that one. Hi! Center field home run for Kingman, a 420-foot blow over the center field almost 2 steps and gave up on that one. Wow.
King Kong, the big guy, Big Dave, man with many nicknames. But to the Cubs, his name was Dave Kingman. $1 million investment in the present and in the future. Although sidelined for almost a month with a severely pulled hamstring muscle, Dave still tallied the most homers on the team with 28. And these weren't just showboat homers. Kingman led the Cubs with 11 game-winning hits and 79 RBIs. And Dave had one of his best seasons afield, with only 6 miscues in 119 games. Dave grew up in Mount Prospect, Illinois, and sat in the Wrigley Field bleachers, as do many youngsters dreaming of the day he would be a major leaguer. Dave's first homer in Wrigley Field as a Cub came April 21st, ironically, against his former teammates, the Mets.
Going. Hey, kiss it goodbye. A home run. It's into the basket for a home run. A youngster made a fine catch, but it's gone. A home run. And Kingman now has put the Cubs out in front 3-0. That's his first Wrigley Field home run as a Cub, and he's getting a standing ovation.
One of Dave's most impressive performances came on the road. It was May 14th, Dodger Stadium. Dave went on a king-size spree with his big bat to gain the Player of the Week award.
Hey, there's one. High up. Hey, just missed the rip. It's left field. He really shot that one out of the cannon. Watch it. Right there, baby. Right there. Hey! Another homer by Kingman. The ball game is all tied up. Woo! Trying to bring the other one in. That's it. Say goodbye. Back. A home run into the bullpen. 3 into the cut. Hey! How about that reception? For the second time, Kingman has a 3-homer day. He had one last June. And the Cubs go out in front by 3. 10, the Dodgers 7.
The best way to learn a skill is to train with the best. Today's Army Reserve. Depending on your qualifications and the needs of your local unit, you can choose from hundreds of skills available. So set aside a small part of your time to learn a skill and earn a good extra income. Join today's Army Reserve.
Right here in America is today's Army Reserve. We're part of what is proud.
For more information, check the white pages under U.S. Government.
I'm working in places I didn't know I had. They got me doing things I never thought I could. Feeling good, feeling strong, part of something I belong.
The Army can make you feel a lot of ways. Challenged, trained, and proud.
With this time, with these people, with this feeling, feeling good, feeling good.
Billy Buckner, in his second year as one of the Cubs' most versatile talents, was invaluable both for his day-to-day performance and as a team inspiration. Although sidelined several times with injuries, Buckner batted .323 in 111 games. And had Billy made enough plate appearances to be eligible for the National League batting title, he would have given Pittsburgh's Dave Parker a run for his money. Billy also led the Cubs with 27 doubles and trailed only Dave Kingman with his 74 runs batted in. His consistently active bat was best illustrated by his lowly 17 strikeouts, the lowest in the league for batters with 400 or more at bats. Billy played every game like it was the World Series. Obviously, a man who takes great pride in his profession, who plays with utmost seriousness, and who always gives 100%, no matter how much it hurts.
What a stop by Buckner. He really pulled the job.
When the team is down by a run or two, a walk is as good as a hit, particularly to outfielder Bobby Mercer. His 80 walks was a team high and provided the team with a potent scoring threat. Combined with his 140 hits, Mercer attained an on-base percentage of .380, a constant source of irritation to opposing pitchers. Bobby also stole 14 bases and was a specialty artist of sorts in delayed steals, for instance, and squeeze bunts. Base running and defense are vital to a contending team, and they were two of the Cubs' greatest assets in '78. The Cubs, in fact, extended or tied 3 National League fielding records, and Ivan DeJesus led all Major League shortstops in assists. DeJesus also scored 104 runs, the highest in the league, beating out such stars as Dave Parker and Pete Rose. Ivan played at 160 games and led the Cubs in 3 other categories: 172 hits, 7 triples, and his proudest personal achievement, the theft of 41 bases, the first time a Cub player has stolen over 40 bases since Kai Kyler a half-century earlier. Rodney Scott also pilfered 27 bases, and this, along with Bobby Mercer's 14, formed the nucleus of this newfound fleetness of foot. One of the big surprises on the '78 Cub team, and a pleasant one, the Cubs finished the season with a team total of 110 stolen bases, the highest for the Cubs in 55 years. Aggressive base running led to an unusually high Cub total of one of the most exciting plays in baseball, the 3-base hit. With Greg Gross and Ivan DeJesus leading the way, the Cubs drilled a team total of 48 triples to rank second in the league. Only the Pirates had more. On May 19th, Gross hammered a triple in the first. Mercer followed with another later in the same inning. Then Gross came back with another in the third.
Fly ball deep to center field. Humphrey going back. It's over his head. Against the wall. Gross round second base. He's going for 3. That's his second triple in 2 times at bat.
The next day, Rader, DeJesus, and Gross tripled to give the Cubs 6 and Gross 3 in 2 days. These 2 games, by the way, were the start of the Cubs' longest winning streak of the season, and the start of their season-long domination over the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cubs beat them 15 out of 18 times, and we can expect that rivalry will only get hotter. Larry Bittner, as usual, was outstanding as a pinch hitter. That demanding role, he hit a torrid .333 with 12 RBIs. While playing regularly from June 5th to the 20th, Larry enjoyed a 15-game hitting streak, the longest of any Cub all season. Outfielder Mike Vail, new in '78, was equally impressive coming off the bench. From July 20th to the 30th, Mike had 6 consecutive pinch hits, led Cub pinch hitters with a .367 average, and drove in 11 runs. Other Cub spark plugs like Gene Clines, Mick Kelleher, Davey Johnson got the job done, both in pinch hitting roles and as starters when needed. When hit by unexpected injuries, dependability of your backup players is essential. The Cubs in that role did the job and then some. Part of the backbone of a team is its pitching staff, and the opposition found some tough hombres on that Cub staff. Right-hander Mike Trucco, when brought back from Wichita, won 5 straight and finished with an impressive 9-3 record. Once again, Rick Russell, a wily and wizened hurler, was the most effective of all Cub starters. Although plagued with physical problems throughout the season, Rick still mustered 14 victories, had a 3.41 ERA, and fanned 115 batters. The 6th consecutive year Rick has surpassed the 100 mark in strikeouts. Truly the Cubs strikeout king. When Rick and other starters got in trouble, manager Herman Franks could go to his bullpen with confidence. Bullpen ace Bruce Sutter was as loved by the Cub fans as he was respected by opposing batters, and with good reason. Bruce fanned 107 batters in 98 innings, while walking only 27 unintentionally and permitting only 82 hits. Bruce won 8 and had 27 saves. A highlight to Bruce's career came at the 1978 All-Star Game in San Diego. Bruce was credited as the winning National League pitcher.
A 4-run lead looks like a glacier when relief ace Bruce Sutter is pitching. He ices the game and gets his first All-Star victory.
They called him the hard luck pitcher of the year, and justifiably. For rookie, Dennis Lamp performed far better than his 7-15 record would indicate. In 6 of the games which he lost, the Cubs were held scoreless. In fact, Dennis still had an earned run average matching that of Tom Severs for most of the season. Chicago sports writers recognized his skills, naming him Co-Chicago Rookie of the Year. Dennis's finest win came on June 9th when he shut out the San Diego Padres, allowing only one hit, a single, by Gene Richards. It was one of 3 times he blanked the opposition. Cub pitching showed consistent improvement in strength, and other talented hurlers who enjoyed winning and looked promising were Willie Hernandez, Donnie Moore, and Manny Cione. They all tallied winning seasons. Hernandez finished the season with an 8-2 record, and Moore, the workhorse of the season, who had 71 trips to the mound, added 9 triumphs. There were many hopeful signs from Cub pitching and many pleasant surprises, the kind of performances that point to a growing and improving staff of rookies and veterans and the makings of a contender.
Never thought I'd go anywhere, but look at me now. I'm in the Army, seeing things I never thought I'd see. Working away, that's not too much to pay to bring my castles home to me.
One good way to see Europe is to enlist for it.
The best way to learn a skill is to train with the best. Today's Army Reserve. Depending on your qualifications and the needs of your local unit, you can choose from hundreds of skills available. So set aside a small part of your time to learn a skill and earn a good extra income. Join today's Army Reserve.
Right here in America, in today's Army Reserve, we're part of what you learn.
For more information, check the white pages under U.S. Government.
Baseball has been described by some as an art form in its more exalted moments. At special times during the season, a graceful exhibition of talent and strength, a ballet. Not all of baseball can be quite so graceful, however. Baseball and the Cubs had its share of slightly less than graceful ballet. Every season has a share of extra special days and moments, record-breaking attendance days, spectacular games, and historic events. WGN Television, the flagship station of the Chicago Cubs, celebrated 30 years of consecutive Cub broadcasts. Team President William J. Hagenow Jr. presented WGN with a plaque accepted by WGN's Jack Brickhouse. And May 14th, the Cubs versus the Dodgers. The game lasted 5 hours and went 15 innings, starring, you guessed it, Dave Kingman. And August 20th, the Cubs versus the Reds. The first 8 innings were nothing to brag about. But the dramatic finish, that made up for everything. September 1st, the Cubs tied a Major League record by scoring in every inning to beat the Astros 14-11. The game also gave the Cubs their biggest score in a single game all season. Other records included most hits in a game by both clubs and most consecutive hits in one game by the Cubs. September 3rd marked a particularly historic event, the Cubs' 15,000th contest, and the first club in Major League history to play that many games. Something to be proud of. For the 11th consecutive year, the Chicago Cubs surpassed the million mark in home attendance, drawing over 1.5 million fans, with over 1.6 million on the road. They were only 2,000 shy of the overall home and road record set in 1969. The Cubs finished the season third best in the Eastern Division, just 11 games out of first place, 1 position and 9 games closer to the division champions. A growing and brighter sign that the Cubs are on their way. Baseball fever itself soared to its highest Major League attendance records, and the ever-loyal and enthusiastic Cub fans were in the forefront. And for players and fans alike, warm and wonderful memories from 1978.